Hi everyone, welcome to the final video in our series on autoencoders. My name is Behzad Savati and I'm a member of Pattern Recognition Lab at Ferdous University of Mashhad. In this video, we'll explore different types of autoencoders and their real-world applications. So let's get started. First, let's recap what we've learned so far. Autoencoders are neural networks that compress and reconstruct data. They have an encoder, latent space, and a decoder, and they can learn by minimizing the reconstruction error. But autoencoders can do much more than just compress data. There are several types of autoencoders, each designed for a specific task. Let's look at the three common ones, which are denoising autoencoders, sparse autoencoders, and variational autoencoders. So first one, denoising autoencoders. There are these are trained to clean up noisy data. For example, if you have a blurry or noisy image, a denoising autoencoder can remove the noise and reconstruct the clean image. And the main difference between the denoising autoencoder and the something called vanilla autoencoder, which is the original autoencoder, is that in the vanilla autoencoder we define our loss function by comparing the input input data and the output data. But here we compare our output data with the original image, not the noisy image which was our input. We compare our output with the clean image. The second one, sparse autoencoders. These encourage the latent space to be sparse, meaning most of the values are zero. This helps the autoencoder learn more efficient and interpretable representation of the data. And as you can see here, we have this sparse autoencoder, which we have a actually, these sparse autoencoders somehow is the opposite side in the traditional autoencoders that we know, because in the vanilla autoencoder the latent space is like in the lower dimension comparing to the input layer. But here, as you can see, the input layer is like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 is 4 dimension, but our latent space have more dimension, and it's for just learning more efficient and interpretable representations. And the third is the variational autoencoders. These are used to generate new data. Instead of just compressing data, VAEs learn a probabilistic distribution in the latent space, which allows them to create new similar data, like generating new images or faces or handwritten digits. And as you can see here, we have an illustration for the variational autoencoders. We have an encoder, we have a probabilistic latent representation, and we have the decoder in here. Autoencoders are used in many real-world applications. For example, image denoising, cleaning up noisy images, anomaly detection, finding unusual patterns in data, like detecting fraud in financial transactions, and data compressing reducing the size of data while keeping the important features, and generative models, creating new data, like generating realistic images or music. One of the coolest things about autoencoders is the latent space. This is where the compressed data is stored, and it often captures meaningful patterns. For example, if you train an autoencoder on images of faces, the latent space might capture features like facial experiment or hairstyles. But here in this visualization which we had in the last video is the latent space for emis data, and as you can see, it is so much more easy to classify each number in our latent space. And that's it for this series on autoencoders. I hope you now have a good understanding of what autoencoders are, how they work, and why they are useful. If you're excited to try building your own autoencoder, check out tools like TensorFlow or PyTorch. Thanks for watching, and happy learning. Thank you all for see this series of videos. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Here is my email, and here is my LinkedIn page. Thank you very much.